All right, let's get into it. You see that sleek black screen hanging on your wall? Well, it's way more than just a box for watching movies. It's got a whole story, a secret life really, packed with amazing engineering, some seriously clever marketing, and a ton of behind-the-scenes competition. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain and uncover the secret life of your smart TV.
And I mean, this story is massive. Just get a load of this number. Over 215 million TVs are sold across the globe every single year. That's just a mind-boggling amount. And that kind of demand means factories are churning these things out 24/7 in a non-stop cycle just to keep them on the shelves.
But here's the thing. It's what the box doesn't tell you that's the really interesting part. We're talking about marketing numbers that can be a little misleading. We're talking about big questions about your own data and privacy. And there's this quiet, high-stakes war between corporate giants to own that spot on your living room wall. So, what secrets are really hiding back there?
To really understand the secrets of the TV you have today, we first have to rewind the clock a little. Seriously, the journey from those old, bulky boxes to the smart hubs we have now, it's a story of incredible, rapid transformation.
I mean, it all started with those heavy black and white tube TVs, right? Then the 60s hit, and boom, color changed everything. By the 90s, screens finally went flat, and in the 21st century, LED technology made them super thin with these incredibly rich colors. That relentless pace of innovation has brought us right here to today's 4K and 8K smart TVs that have AI built right in. So, how in the world is a modern marvel like that actually put together? All right, let's go inside the factory and see the unbelievably precise journey from what's basically just sheets of glass and metal into the smart gadget that's sitting in your living room. You know, the whole process is like a perfectly choreographed ballet of engineering. It kicks off with crafting that super important LCD panel. Then comes the backlight, integrating all the electronics, putting the whole thing together for testing, installing the brains, the software, and finally packaging it up for its long journey to you.
Okay, so at the very core of your screen is the liquid crystal display, the LCD. The best way to picture it is like a really high-tech sandwich. You've got two super thin sheets of glass, and in between them is a layer of liquid crystal. Millions of tiny little transistors act like microscopic light switches, while red, green, and blue color filters work together to create every single color you see. This panel is literally the heart of the image.
But here's the catch. That panel can't actually create any light on its own. It needs a light source, and that's where the backlight comes in. Strips of LEDs are installed around the edges, and their light gets spread perfectly evenly across the entire screen by a special sheet of plexiglass. This is what gives you that uniform brightness without any weird hotspots or dark patches. Now, a modern TV basically has two main circuit boards. You can think of them as the brain and the heart. The main board, that's the brain. It's processing all the video and audio signals and connecting to your Wi-Fi. Then you have the power board, that's the heart. It takes the electricity from your wall and pumps it out to every single component to bring the whole thing to life. Before a single TV is allowed to leave the factory, it goes through this whole battery of really tough tests. I mean, high-sensitivity scanners check every single one of the millions of pixels for any defects. The speakers are blasted to make sure the sound is perfectly crisp and clear. And finally, every circuit is double and triple checked for safety and function. Only the flawless ones get to pass. Okay, so the TV is built, it's perfect. But now we get to those secrets we were talking about. Let's start by decoding some of the numbers you see printed on the box, because, well, they don't always tell you the full story.
You've seen this, right? The box says 120 Hz refresh rate, and you think, wow, that's amazing. Well, a lot of the time, that's actually a 60 Hz panel that's just using software tricks to smooth out the motion. And that unbelievable 1,000,000 to 1 contrast ratio? In the real world, it's actually closer to 5,000 to 1. Even HDR support can be a bit of a stretch if the TV isn't bright enough to give you that true HDR pop. So what's the lesson here? Don't just trust the box. Always look up reviews from experts you trust. This next part, though, brings us to a much more serious topic. Your TV's connected to the internet, right? It probably has a microphone for voice commands. So how much is it really listening? How smart, and maybe more importantly, how aware is that device sitting in your living room? And look, these are not just some theoretical what-if concerns. This really happened. Back in 2017, the TV company Vizio was hit with a big fine for doing exactly this. They were collecting detailed viewing data from 11 million users without them knowing, and then selling that data. It's a pretty stark reminder of what can happen when we're not paying close attention. So, what can you do about it? Well, you've got to be proactive. When you're setting up a new TV, don't just speed click through agree. Actually, take a minute to look at the terms. Then dive into the settings menu and actively look for privacy options. If you never use voice commands, hey, maybe just disable the microphone. And just like on your phone, be smart about the apps you install. Okay, so beyond the tech and the privacy stuff, there is a fierce knockdown, drag-out battle being fought for that space on your wall. The TV market today is pretty much dominated by a few major players, and each one has a totally different game plan for winning you over. You've really got three titans in the ring. Samsung is all in on its QLED technology, premium branding, and creating this seamless AI-powered experience. Then there's LG, the pioneer of OLED, and they are betting everything on delivering the absolute best, most perfect picture quality with those inky deep blacks. And then you have TCL, who's just stormed the market with mini LED tech, super aggressive pricing, and a strategy that's all about giving you the best bang for your buck. But, every TV's life has to come to an end eventually. So what happens when that screen finally goes dark for the last time? Well, this is its final journey, and it brings up a massive environmental problem: e-waste. Millions upon millions of TVs get thrown out every single year. Now, on the one hand, recycling can recover really valuable stuff like gold and copper. But on the other hand, these things are also full of toxic materials like lead and mercury. And that's why it is so important to remember this one thing. Please, never just toss an old TV in the trash. Always take the time to find a certified e-waste recycling center. So as old technology gets retired, new and exciting innovations are always waiting to take its place. The race to build the perfect screen is nowhere near over, and trust me, what's coming next feels like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie. The next huge wave is a technology called micro-LED. Just try to imagine this: the insane brightness and vibrant color of the very best LED TVs, but combined with the perfect pixel-by-pixel contrast of an OLED screen and with zero risk of screen burn-in. That is the incredible promise of micro-LED. And we're even starting to move past the classic rectangle. We are already seeing screens that you can literally roll up and hide when you're not using them, or transparent displays that just look like a clear piece of glass until you flick them on. The fantasy from yesterday is quickly becoming today's reality. And really, the end goal here is for the screen to become something more than just a display. In the not-so-distant future, it might be more like an interactive companion, a personal assistant, a health monitor that can check your vitals, or maybe even a fully interactive learning tool for your kids. Which brings us right to our final thought for the day. We've seen how these screens are built, how they're marketed, and where the technology is headed. They're evolving from a simple display into an intelligent companion. So, the big question to leave you with is this: as these screens get more and more woven into the fabric of our lives, how do we make sure that they are serving us and not the other way around?